Hey everyone, so a few people, including Fan Seen Vids, has asked, is nerd culture dead? And to answer that question, I think we have to look at the bigger picture through three different angles, or lenses, or whatever is the correct analogy here. The first one being the franchises. From a franchise perspective, yes, the franchises are dead or on life support if you want to be extremely generous. I mean, look at Star Trek. Basically, it has went from having the heart and soul of explorers, as the main title says, to boldly go where no one has went before, to boldly going backwards and fucking shit up. That's just the reality of. I don't think you can even. It's only Star Trek in name. It's not actually Star Trek. It hasn't the heart or soul of Star Trek. Look at Picard. 3 different seasons. And it's 3 different timelines. All just completely neglecting the timeline before. Same thing for Star Wars, Doctor Who, you name it, anything that's been rebooted or remade and is being made based. Lord of the Rings, another good example, that has been completely destroyed, although I will say that was completely destroyed by the Hobbit trilogy. As a big fan, out of the Lord of the Rings books, the Hobbit is my actual favourite. And to see it just completely and utterly shit on, it made me less than thrilled, let's put it like that. So, from a franchise perspective, yes, it's dead. Then we go to the second angle. Fandom. Are the fandoms dead? Pretty much. If you follow any of the convention stuff, the numbers, even not counting during the COOF bollocks, even after it, Star Trek conventions are being cancelled. And the ones that the cons that do go on are now more heavily regulated than ever before, in case anybody gets misgendered, or anything like that. The cosplay has been cut back to, you're not allowed to show anything, in case, someone gets again offended by, hot women in cool outfits. Seriously. Sales of the toys, the figures, the books have all plummeted. So from a fandom perspective, yes, that's dead as well, because another reason why the fandom, including, as I just said, convention stuff, is because the actual actors in these shows have done nothing but attack and degrade and insult the fans for years now, because we don't believe because we don't believe in the lies and propaganda of identity politics. Because we don't do that, they hate us all. So it has driven a lot of people away. So from a franchise perspective and fandom perspectives, they're both dead. But nerd culture, no, it's alive and well and thriving. Basically, which way would I say this? Right, look behind me. Right, I have a walls of DVDs, books and stuff. I have an attic full of VHS tapes, and if you go to the YouTube channels, the Reddits and all the forums and stuff, they're not talking about the new stuff, they're talking about the old stuff, the stuff that was actually good. Same thing goes for horror movies, and just across the board, everybody is focusing now, if you want to use the term, I don't know how accurate it is, but if you want to say real nerds like myself, because let's be honest, the people that these new movies and shows are being made for are not fans. They want to see the lies and propaganda of identity politics, but they don't care if it's a good story. They don't care if it's got heart and soul. As long as they see what they want, they don't give a crap. And as soon as they see it, they move on to something else. Which is why, again, all the franchises and TV shows are being made for this new audience, and this new audience doesn't spend money. It doesn't have walls like this. You know, it doesn't buy action figures. It doesn't pay for the special 4 DVD box of a movie. They don't collect old stuff. You know, they don't. I mean, look at the sales of all the merchandise to go along with Star Wars. It is dead. You know, so franchise dead, fandom dead. But when it comes to nerd culture, to us nerds talking about nerd stuff, you know, especially the older stuff, it's alive and well. So I don't think nerd culture is dead. I think nerds will always exist. It's just we're a slowly dwindling bunch. You know, as years pass, we'll die off. And unfortunately, there isn't going to be new nerds to take our place. You know, if they keep making this utter garbage for the next 20, 30 years, you know, I die off and there won't be a nerd to take my place, because the people these shows are being made for now aren't nerds. They'll watch something, see that what they want is in it, and then move on to the next thing and forget about, you know, actually. I think it comes down to passion. A complete lack of passion by new audiences that these things are being made for. They have no passion. That's why when they talk about a show, they don't talk about the heart and soul of it, the both sides of the argument, the character development. They argue, well, we need black person and Hispanic person and wheelchair bound person and etc., etc. They don't have any passion for these shows, which is why nerd culture is great now, but if this crop keeps being made, nerd culture will probably die out in 40, 50 years, and then it will be dead. Because at that point in time, it'll just be, show comes on, people watch show, people forget show, and that'll be it. There'll be very little merchandising, etc., etc. So I'd say at this point in time, nerd culture is doing great with just ourselves, watching old stuff and that sort of thing, but in the future, if something doesn't change in the industry, it will be dead. So yeah, I think I've made at least one coherent argument during this video. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and until next time, take care of yourselves.